Welcome back. Today is September 18th, 2024, and in case you don't know, you're on Fixing My Faith. And my name is Vern. And every day I have been fixing my faith since I started this channel. And I share just about every day on this channel my research. I call it research and development. And, it's funny how YouTube helps us with that research. I'll show you a little bit of my history. Let me just change my screen here. And then I'll take you right over to my history channel. There we go. There we go. Okay, so here is some of my history. And I watched this guy here today. Now, he's been showing up on my feed for, I don't know, a little bit here. And, I do the JW thing. I kind of look at him and look at his thumbnail, and I kind of look at a bit of it. I look at him there. And I think, I'm not going to watch that. You know how it is. You're looking through your feed, and you see all this different stuff. So I watch a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Well, I got thinking, this thumbnail today hit me. You notice I watched the whole thing, eh? The real reason God destroyed Sodom and Gommorah. And right away, I started watching this, and it echoed this guy, David Splane. It echoed him. Exactly what he... To me, this is a juxtapox. I said that wrong. Juxtapox. Is that the right way of saying it? Maybe. My wife says it good. But anyways, it's a comparison between these two guys. And they're saying the same thing. And what they're saying is that David Splane, remember the 2023 annual meeting, he's drawing question as to Jehovah's judgment. When it came to the floods, the Assyrian armies, and all those things, and right up till Sodom and Gommorah. And he says, we're changing our whole viewpoint here. We're changing it. We feel Jesus' words trump Jehovah. We're going to play a little bit of this in comparison to Morgue, this other guy. So who is this guy, Morgue? I looked at him on his site here, Morgue Official. He talks a little bit about himself. He was in a high control religion, Christian religion. And then he got into creating a new humanity, new earth through consciousness. And he feels it's all about consciousness. He'll talk about it a little bit at the end. And I'm just going to play the ending of his video here. So we're going to get into David Splane the first 5 minutes, so bear with me. I'll butt in here and there, and we'll listen to David Splane for a bit.
By means of an angel, Jehovah God told his dear friend Abraham that he was going to destroy the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. The angel said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is indeed great, and their sin is very heavy." Abraham was troubled. He apparently wondered whether Jehovah had taken all of the factors into consideration before he made that decision to destroy the cities. So he asked, "Will the judge of all the earth not do what is right?" Well, we can understand why Abraham would ask that question. It was early days in his relationship with Jehovah God. He was just beginning to get acquainted with Jehovah. And we can hardly imagine him asking the same question later when he knew Jehovah much better. But have you ever asked a similar question? Maybe.
So he gets on to explain how Abraham, he was young, and that's why he questioned Jehovah on this. He wasn't seasoned, but yet here David Splane, as you'll see toward the end of the video, he also is questioning Jehovah because he's also saying Jehovah made a mistake. I found that interesting.
when you were just coming into the truth? Have you ever asked, for example, will none of those who died in the flood get a resurrection? Even those who may never have heard of Noah? And what about Sodom and Gommorah? Will everyone who died in Sodom and Gommorah sleep an everlasting sleep? The women, the children, babies. And was there not one redeemable Assyrian soldier in that band of 185,000 who died at the hand of Jehovah's angel? We don't have the answer to those questions.
Babies, children, mothers. Now, when we play Morgue's video, he goes on to explain the same thing. And it's not only here. I've been watching this in other videos. Now, on our Discord channel, you can go to it. They're under a lot of the Discord members throw in videos. And one of the videos they put in was Silas Speaks. And I'll see if I can pull up his video here, his YouTube site in a bit, and we'll talk about it. But he's another one that's out there talking about this very same subject that David Splane is talking about, drawing question as to Jehovah's judgment. And all of these cases, going right back to the flood, really drawing question. Did Jehovah do the right thing? So let's listen in and hear a little bit more.
But we do know one thing. The merciful judge of all the earth will do what is right. Wait a minute. Did I hear that right? We don't have the answer to those questions? I thought we did. In the past, our publications have stated that there's no hope of a resurrection for those who died in the flood or those destroyed in Sodom and Gommorah. But do we really know that? The men of Sodom and Gommorah were certainly wicked, and they deserved to die for what they did. But did they know any better? How often did Lot and his family preach to them? And are we saying that if special pioneers had been assigned to Sodom, that they would have had no success whatsoever in preaching to the Sodomites, helping them to turn around and come to a knowledge of Jehovah?
Now, I don't know how you view what he just said, but to me, he's drawing question. If we would have sent pioneers in, we could have done a better job than Jehovah did. Jehovah sent Lot or Abraham, and Jehovah didn't do a good job. That's what David Splane's saying here. Let's not be dogmatic.
Them to turn around and come to a knowledge of Jehovah? Can we say dogmatically that not one Sodomite would have repented if Jehovah's requirements have been explained? And then there's the fascinating statement made by Jesus, found at Matthew chapter 11. I'll give you a moment. Matthew chapter 11, and we're going to read verses 23 and 24. This is interesting. Matthew 11, 23 and 24. And you, Capernaum, will you perhaps be exalted to heaven? Down to the grave you will come. Because, and notice this, if the powerful works that took place in you had taken place in Sodom, it would have remained until this very day. But I say to you, it will be more endurable for the land of Sodom on Judgment Day than for you. It would have remained until this very day. Jehovah's angel had told Abraham that if 10 righteous men could be found in Sodom, the city would not be destroyed. So was Jesus saying that if he had preached and performed powerful works in Sodom, 10 righteous men would have been found and the city would have been spared? It's also of interest to consider Jehovah's words to unfaithful Judah.
Well, there you have it. You heard David Splane, right from his own mouth, tell us all that Jesus trumps Jehovah. Like, what Jesus says is more powerful in the game of cards, in the deck of cards, in the Bible, than what Jehovah did. Everyone, I notice, is looking at what Jehovah did in a negative way. So here we see David Splane doing that to the audience, telling us that Jehovah didn't do it right. Jesus has to fix it. And that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. But everyone's saying this. It's just not me saying this. If we look, this is one of the guys that was on our server, Silas Speaks. He's on our Discord server, and he's willing to come onto the channel and talk to us a little bit more about this. He references a scripture in John 8:44, where Jesus says to the Pharisees, "Your father is from the devil," or is the devil. And he really builds a good case. And we're going to take a look now at Morgue. But I was looking at Silas, so if you guys want to see Silas Speaks, have him come on live, do a discussion with us all, please put it in the comments, and we'll certainly pull him in to talk some more about this subject. Now, this is Morgue. I talked to you a little bit about Morgue Official. He was a Christian, so he's going to tell us a little bit about, in his summary, about how he feels about Sodom and Gommorah and the Bible's narrative, and then he's going to give us a comparison to the Gnostic viewpoint, and then he'll summarize it at the end.
Being said here, as we have this story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where according to the Bible, according to Christian interpretation, it's this story of evil, of sexual depravity, and Lot is a good and faithful servant of God, and God destroys Sodom and Gomorrah and spares Lot and his daughters. But I mean, when you really look at the story, it gets very dark, because you realize that means God unalived innocent children and all the animals and the vegetables as well, even if the people were not good. And Lot and his family were supposed to be very faithful to God and righteous. And then you have his daughters essaying him, and, like father, like daughter, I guess, because he wanted to give them to the crowd to do whatever they wanted with them. So a ton of depravity. The Gnostics looked at this story and had a completely different interpretation, and said this was a city of gnosis, a city of knowledge, a city of enlightenment, and an evil demon tried to destroy it, to spread ignorance, to spread darkness. And after destroying the city of Sodom, he went to the four corners of the earth, bringing darkness and ignorance all over the earth. Another demon arose, giving a false baptism of water and continuing to spread darkness across the world. But the light will come and spread and separate from the darkness and be available to those who are seeking it. So, very interesting, my friends. What I want to know is, tell me in the comments, what do you think about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Do you favor the biblical interpretation? Do you favor the Gnostic interpretation? Do you have your own interpretation? Just tell me what you think. It's a very interesting story. But always remember that, hey, these stories are metaphors. These stories are symbolic. Didn't actually happen. It did not happen like it said in the Bible. And it didn't happen like it says in these Gnostic texts. These are symbolic for the forces of ignorance constantly trying to cover up and destroy enlightenment and knowledge and understanding of the self and each other. And we can see it playing out all around us right now. We can see that demon going to the four corners of the earth, spreading darkness and spreading ignorance. But that light is ours to bring to the world, to proclaim. The second coming of Christ isn't something that's going to happen in the future with Jesus coming down from the clouds with trumpets blaring and all that bullshit. We are the second coming of Christ. It's a coming of a new consciousness. It's the return of Christ consciousness within all of us. And we are here to cultivate it within ourselves and help others cultivate it in themselves. And we are engaged in this battle against these demonic forces. Remember, all metaphorical, all symbolic, but a very real occurrence nonetheless, real in the fact that the forces of ignorance are very real and the forces of consciousness and enlightenment is very real. So check out my playlist if you want to know more about.
Okay, so that gives you kind of a Gnostic look at it. He explained some of the stories. And if you watch the whole video, he goes in detail to explain the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And it's when you stand back and look at it, here I was for 30 years teaching my kids this very story, through the Bible Stories book. And we would put on the cassettes and play them to the kids even before they were hardly talking. And we brainwashed these kids into these stories. So now you wonder what the kids think at this stage. Well, a lot of the kids are growing up and they're looking back and they're questioning, why was God so angry? And then even David Splane is saying, why was God so angry? Why was he so rash? Why did he nuke Sodom and Gomorrah? And Jesus even said, these cities would have been here with us today had I went in there. So here David Splane is using Jesus as the higher authority clause on this particular subject. And then shortly after that, when we think of David Splane, we think of how through the annual meeting there was changes. Beards were allowed. Women can wear slacks. Men don't have to wear ties. Things have changed in this religion. They no longer have to count time. They can just check a box. And now they're relaxing their shunning policy so that they're hoping to qualify in countries where they're saying your shunning is too strict. You're no longer a religion. So we're going to see what happens next with this religion, with David Splane, and how they're leading this religion. But when I look at this guy, they're saying the same thing. They're saying the same thing about Sodom and Gomorrah and about God, Jehovah, being this, well, you tell me in the comments. But it's not good. So we're going to leave it at that for today. And thanks to everyone out there for helping us on the Discord channel, placing some of these videos for us. It gives us something to look at, and it helps us with some of the research. So we're going to close today with keep living your life with love. And even the Gnostics, that's what their consciousness is about. True consciousness is about love. It's a Christ-like love. They call it the Christo within, the Christ within. And I've heard that from a number of different YouTubers. And it seems to be a thing, that something maybe we'll do a little bit more research on it in this channel. I know I've covered off on some of these things in the past, but it seems like it's becoming more and more of a thing, at least on my YouTube feed. Let me know what's happening on yours, and we are always looking for new information. So folks, we'll see you on the next video, and enjoy this little bit of music I'm going to give you. Bye for now.
My sound make me